It's alive. I'm not getting any picture, though. There's the picture. I see it. We're live, Lewis. We're live. Can you give me one of those? It's alive! From that movie.
What movie was that?
I don't know,
Frankenstein?
Yeah, it's Frankenstein.
Frankenstein, or was
That
it?
was like that was an era or a movie
It's
from your era.
live.
Yeah, there it is.
Was it the original Frankenstein though?
I've never seen the original Frankenstein, but it was black and white, so I think that.
What?
Yeah.
Never once. I used to love watching those black and white horror movies.
See, I knew it. That's why I asked you to do it. I knew that you'd probably.
It's alive.
That's exactly what his face looked like. That's pretty good. Hey everyone. Let me tweet that. I forgot. Nature finds a way.
Oh my heavens, the malfunctioning tweeting machine.
No, I just forgot to hit send. I'm working on my Jeff Goldblum, Lewis. I really want to master the Jeff Goldblum impression. That's a good one. Because he kind of has like a whimsical way that he speaks. That's clearly I need some work. But the part I have nailed is nature finds a way. Yes. That's the only part of the Jeff Goldblum impression that I can do.
Everybody's got to have a special skill.
God, I would love to be able to do a good Jeff Goldblum and maybe a decent Bill Maher. I'd be happy with a decent Bill Maher. He's a hard one to do, and he's not one that many people do well. I heard a guy do an impression of Tom Hanks the other day. That's a tough one, Tom Hanks, because he speaks like a normal person, but he has that Tom Hanksiness to him. When he speaks, it's kind of like only he speaks the way Tom Hanks speaks. Hey, everyone, welcome. We're just vamping here, waiting for people to fill the room. If you are watching, why not come say something in the chat? I'll give you a shout out if you're here. We actually have a lot of Apple news to talk about this week, and all sorts of stuff going down. And I was worried when I was putting together the show notes. I was like, dude, this is going to be bad. There's nothing to talk about this week, which is how I felt the last 6 weeks in a row. But then we go through the stories, and lo and behold, there actually is some stuff there. So we'll go through everything here in just a minute. Oh, there it is. People are rolling in now. Shout out to McLean. Chase McLean's here. Reese Grundy. Good to see you as well. Sangir is here. Tom Walker is here. Hello, Govs. Good to see everyone's avatars here. Welcome. You'll notice a British face is absent from this setup. We regret to inform you that Lander Katie's dead.
He's getting his bangers mashed.
Do I even want to know what that means? I don't. I don't want to know what that means. Hopefully he will be back next week, but he took a day off to do narcotics, so maybe he'll have some kind of revelation.
Paperwork.
I told you what paperwork means.
He's got a media empire to run.
Roll something up in paper. Work on that paper all afternoon. That's what paperwork means. Yeah, so it's going to be just me and Lewis today, but we got all sorts of stuff to talk about. And Lewis, I think maybe we should just go ahead and jump into it. Can't you make the podcast longer? Don't tempt us there.
Did somebody actually say that? Oh, yeah, we can.
Yeah, we sure could.
Oh, yeah, sure.
You guys only get an hour of it. By the time we log on, we've already been doing it for usually at least 30 minutes and possibly longer. And then after we stop, we usually talk another 30 minutes. But the problem is all the stuff that we say is so taboo that we couldn't actually ever air it because we would be excommunicated from decent society. So we have to be careful, especially Leander. That guy, he says things that get us banned off YouTube in a heartbeat. But yeah, but if you desire more Cultcast, look, there's always Cultcast off topic, which I'll be talking about today. Prime opportunity. Twitch. Maybe we should be streaming on Twitch. We could do Lewis games. We'll just watch you play games, Lewis. Have you ever played a video game in your entire life?
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I don't know.
Dude, I grew up in an arcade. Remember, you ever heard one of those?
I remember those. I passed by one once. There was like 2 guys in it. There were cobwebs all over. And I haven't been in one in probably 15 years. I'm sad to say.
And one of my best friends in junior high had his dad owned a putt golf, and they had an arcade, right?
Oh,
And
dude, that'd be so cool.
they would just give us rolls of tokens, and we would just go down there, and hours and hours spent.
Oh my God. That's like every kid's dream. I would love to do
It,
that now. It's so much
yeah,
more fun being in an arcade playing video games than like on your couch by yourself, you know?
it was awesome.
Man, was it a larger place?
What do you mean large?
Well,
I
like
mean,
was it like a tiny arcade or was it like a full-on arcade full of like tons of different games? Or was it just
well,
like the game section of like the putt-putt place?
yeah. I mean, it was the game section of the putt place, but I would say it had probably had 40 games in there.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it was.
40
It was.
machines is a ton of
Yeah,
machines.
it wasn't like just the entry to a restaurant or something. A couple games. They had a whole bunch.
Wow.
Yeah, it was awesome. Absolutely awesome. Of course, I also had to cut the grass of the place. One of my early jobs.
You had
Cutting
to
the
like
grass.
mow the grass?
Yeah.
That's like a cool kid
At
job
the
to
putt
have
putt
though.
golf. Is it
I think so. Yeah. Going around mowing people's grass. Classic kid job.
at the putt putt golf while people are playing putt putt golf?
Oh, you had real grass there?
I had to manicure the greens. In between
Oh.
the holes. Because it's not. See, it's
You had
not
to
real
manicure
grass
in between
at
the
putt-putt
holes,
golf.
huh? Sounds awful. Sounds terrible.
I was sort of the Bill Murray,
Uh-huh.
out there slogging around.
I have to
looking
admit,
for-
I'm not actually sure.
What?
I think I've seen parts of it.
God,
I've never
another
seen
hole in your
I've
education.
never seen the whole thing. All right, look, our audience is quickly leaving us because we're talking about
can blame
movies
'em.
from 30 years ago. And normally we wait until we're talking about Apple stuff for all them to leave. So let's go ahead and jump into all of this week's news. There's a lot of stuff to talk about this week. A lot of stuff to talk about. And I don't want to tantalize you guys too much, but show you something. I'm going to tell you guys a way that I discovered to make these AirPods Max sound 10 times better. I'm not joking. I'll give you the tips. Stay tuned. Get your nips ready. Get the Band-Aids out. You might want to get the extra large Band-Aids too. Like those big wound ones that go over like a large area, not just like the little strip ones. You're going to need the full-on gauze with medical tape. Okay, guys. let me see if Mrs. Doubtfire is around here. Where is she? Mrs. Doubtfire? Yes. We're ready to start the show now. Oh, would you like one lump or two? No, just the show. We're ready to start the show. Oh, okay. Let me get the music queued up here. Mrs. D. Here we go. Hello, and welcome to Hookcast, the best 30-plus minute Apple conversation you're going to hear all week long. I'm your host, Airfun Elijah. Joining me today, he discovered El Caney at Cultimac headquarters this morning in a thick fog of smoke, frozen in his chair. Big grin on his face, eye twitching, very clearly tripping balls. So it's going to be just me and him today. The magnanimous managing editor of Cultimac, Lewis Wallace, is here.
Hey, yeah. Another hands-on review of one of Puffco's thing, I think, is in
Dude,
the works.
that was so funny. So if you guys aren't sure what we're talking about, so Leander Caney has become a narcotics specialist since Buster departed the show. And Leander Caney took over as title of California Smoke Champ. And all he ever talks about in the show anymore is, I don't know, cannabis paraphernalia. And we did was it last week or the week before? It might have been
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. Okay. So all he ever talks about is like these high-tech bubblers that he gets to use. And so he did this. Oh, it was his last pick of the year. That's right.
Yep.
Because it was like the perfect pick. So he picks this super high-tech bubbler from this company called Puffco, the Puffco. And didn't they have like a 420 sesh mode and something built into that? You had to turn on sesh mode to get the thing working.
Something.
And I guess they somehow found out about either our coverage or did you guys reach out to them or something? And now they're sending him all sorts of high-tech gear. And I just kind of wonder if it's coincidence that he's missing today after Puffco just sent them a Puffco package.
Yeah, I guess they launched this product at CES, or at least they were exhibiting it at CES this week. And yeah, they had this promo video that was like some kind of 70s acid trip video. It barely even mentioned the product. It was crazy.
There is no product in it at all. It was just literally just some guy smoking, toking, rolling
Bunch of real,
around, tripping bulls.
bunch of people really seriously hitting on this thing, and then lots of like bug eye and thumping bass. It's a pretty cool video, actually. Very understated in a sort of way.
Well, it's so
Did,
cool that you guys actually featured it on Cult of Mac.
yeah,
Didn't
wrote
you
it up real fast. Yeah, they have the thing that kicked it over for me is they actually have these tote bags on their website that say "sesh different."
Sesh different. That's hilarious. It's like Leander Caney and this company are a match made in heaven.
Maybe he works.
He might be. He's going to be joining the
He's the
board
mastermind.
soon enough. Yeah, so Leander's out this week. We honestly don't know what he is doing. He said he had to do paperwork, and by paperwork, I think the paper is about this big. You roll it up like this, you close it, and then you work on the paper all afternoon. I've been making that joke for like the last hour, and honestly, it just keeps getting funnier. So let me run through what we are going to be talking about this week here. Oh, man. So we've got some new Apple TV Plus content to talk about, and this is stuff that I'm actually excited about. And I've got to ask the question. The free Apple TV Plus memberships, they're getting ready to expire here pretty soon. And I'm just wondering what you think, Lewis, if it's worth paying for Apple TV Plus. I certainly have some opinions on that. Also, now you can see evidence of AirTags on your own iPhone. Apple released an update, and you can literally trick your iPhone into showing you how you'll be able to add items to your Find My app so that you can find different items. Plus, they're beefing up the Find My app in some powerful ways, which is really interesting. We'll talk about that. You'll be able to find virtually anything now that is compatible with the Find My app. So not just your Apple stuff. This is going to be like a whole ecosystem full of stuff. Let's see here. Oh, we're going to talk about a Apple Pay offer. We don't normally talk about these, but this one's really interesting. And so if you're in the US, you actually might want to hear about this new Apple Pay offer that you can get. And then we will talk about one simple trick. God, this is so clickbaity. I apologize, but this is a great title. One simple trick that will make your AirPods Max sound 10 times better. Actually, it's more like 1.5 tricks. So I was doing a bunch of tests on the AirPods Max this week, and I'm working on my full review, like my month-long review, and I discovered something that drastically enhanced the way AirPods Max sound. And I was honestly stunned. I couldn't believe it. So we'll talk about it.
Did you take those little paper covers off the cup?
Did you know those come off?
Yeah.
I had no idea. I thought those were to enhance the sound design. And I pulled those
sweat absorbent.
Yeah, the sweat absorbent layer. I pulled those paper cups off, and all of a sudden, the sound was drastically enhanced.
Amazing.
Let's see here. God, I can't talk. I think I've been drinking too much coffee here. Let's see here. Before we dive in, I want to give a very hearty thank you. Where are my notes here? Oh, yeah. Very hearty thank you to NordVPN for supporting this episode. Get secure and private access to the internet. A VPN service provides you a secure encrypted tunnel for online traffic to flow. Nobody can see through the tunnel and get their hands on your precious internet data. Let me pull this up in browser mode. Hold on a sec here, guys. Let's go to nordvpn.com/cultcast. And I will go into full-on browser mode right here so you guys have something to look at while I'm doing this. There we go. There we go. NordVPN is the best VPN if you're looking for peace of mind when you use public Wi-Fi, access personal and work accounts on the road, and want to keep your browsing history to yourself. Boy, that's more important these days than ever, wouldn't you say, Lewis? Especially for Leander Caney. And people want to make sure that their data is protected. And you can do that on all your devices. There's a NordVPN app for Windows, Mac OS, Linux, iOS, Android, even your Android TV, so you can hide all the really terrible, awful things that you're watching there. And also, there are encrypted proxy extensions for Chrome and Firefox. Best of all, with one NordVPN account, you can secure up to 6 devices at the same time. They have super fast servers, 5,200 servers in 59 countries. You can unlock Netflix and your favorite entertainment websites. There's a 30-day money-back guarantee. They do not log your precious data, and you can have up to 6 simultaneous connections at the same time. And plus, they have double data encryption. We have a special deal for CultCast listeners. Head on over to nordvpn.com/cultcast and use the coupon code CultCast at checkout to get a 2-year plan with a huge discount plus 1 additional free month. That is NordVPN, NORDVPN/cultcast to be sure to use the code CultCast to get a free 2-year plan with a huge discount plus 1 additional month for free. Super fast, super secure VPN. God, I'm still not used to just putting us into the mode where it's just both our faces on camera. I have to like retrain my fingers here.
Oh no.
All right, Lewis. Sorry, go ahead. What?
I said, oh no.
So I got to take a swig.
Oh
I'm
heavens.
losing my voice today. I don't know why.
It's,
I think it's because I've drank nothing but coffee literally all day, you know?
how many cups?
I'm on my third.
Did you did you already sign up for that Apple Pay thing?
No, not yet. I think I might have to, though. But the thing is I don't really ever go to Panera Bread. So I don't really know if it would be useful to me. If it were Starbucks, dude, if that were a Starbucks deal, we should just talk about it. We're already talking about it. You want to just go into it, Lewis?
Just lead with that one?
We might as well. Maybe it will
Sure.
lure people into staying
Since it-
longer. Make it sound really interesting. You really got to sell this, Lewis.
Okay, so if you use Apple Pay, you can get 4 months of free coffee at Panera Bread. Unlimited coffee. And is it free actually? Let's see.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not free. You're paying for it, but you after that you get free coffee.
Well, it usually costs $8.99 per month, but now you can get unlimited coffee any flavor you want. No espresso, of course. And but
Oh,
you just
really?
sign
I
up.
didn't realize that.
Yeah.
So it's just drip coffee?
So it's you can get hot tea, and you can get
But not
regular
iced
coffee.
tea, Lewis.
No, yeah,
It
no,
excludes iced
exactly.
tea.
It excludes iced tea and
You
excludes
want hot,
cold
that's
brew
fine.
coffee.
No ice. Uh-huh.
And no espresso, no cappuccino. But they always offer a 3-month trial, I guess. But if you sign up with Apple Pay, you get a whole extra month for free. So, I mean, I actually looked on the internet to see if there's any Panera Breads anywhere. There are none in San Francisco. But
Oh, you guys don't have any in San Francisco?
no, not
Oh.
there. There isn't even one. There's one in like Daly City. I would never drive somewhere to buy a sandwich, but if this was a real time where I went to work and there was a Panera Bread across the street from where I worked, and I could get a free coffee for signing up with Apple Pay, I'd be in there in a heartbeat. I'd be in there every
Dude,
day.
Yeah, same here. I think this is a really smart move on Apple's part. This is one of those things that really will sell the service, is giving people those exclusive discounts, those exclusive perks. I heard they were doing 20% off of Grubhub orders last month, I believe. I don't know if that's ended. And that's a pretty cool perk just for using Apple Pay.
Yeah.
If this were Starbucks, this would be like an amazing perk. And Starbucks would make a lot of sense because they have Starbucks everywhere. You can drive through Starbucks. I don't think that Starbucks would necessarily do something like this because, Panera Bread wants you to buy food while you're there, I'm guessing.
Yeah, that's
But
their whole
$9 a month for free coffee anytime you're out and about, dude, that's kind of a cool plan. And they call it My Panera Plus. Panera Plus.
plus.
It's a novel idea. I give them credit for that. I would love to see Starbucks or some other big cafe offer this. But anyway, it's a cool perk. And if you're in the U.S., you can get an extra month free. So you get 4 months really for free if you sign up using Apple Pay. I mean, shoot, I might do it. Why not?
I love using Apple Pay anyway.
I do too, and actually now it feels like because of Beer Bug, it's just everywhere all of a sudden, right? Everyone was pushed to use contactless payments, whereas before, a lot of places were kind of dragging their feet on it and not implementing it. Like at my local grocery store, you could check out with Samsung Pay, but they still didn't take Apple Pay. So the functionality was built in, but you couldn't actually use it on Apple Pay for some strange reason. I have no idea why. Hold on, I gotta turn on Do Not Disturb. Someone's having a chat in one of my conversations in Signal, and my freaking Apple Watch is buzzing every 10 seconds. And believe it or not, that is very distracting when you're trying to do a show. There we go. Like every 5 seconds, it just keeps going. Bzz, 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 bzz,
So
bzz.
do a quick EKG reading.
Wait a
ECG. see how your heart
It's
rate's
not
going.
Signal, it's my heart. All right, well, we knocked that story out of there. So now let's get to all of
Woo,
the
baby, we are flying through them.
let's get through all the interesting stuff. So let's start with this one, Lewis. I know I kind of have these out of order. I should have ordered these differently. But let's talk about seeing evidence of AirTags on your phone. So if you're skeptical about Apple's plans for AirTags, I don't know why you would be. I really don't know why you would be at this point. But if you are, you can bring up their Find My app. Actually, if you open Safari and you type in Find My / items, it will ask you if you want to launch Find My, and you will be presented with this screen, which for those of you watching, you get to see. Oh, shoot, I want to make sure I move that out of the way.
Oh.
It was showing my address.
Whoa,
Let's not do that. So here's what it looks like. You can see it presents to you a little pane in the Find My app, and it allows you to add items like your keys, a backpack, a bicycle. Now, isn't that interesting? And why would you be able to add a bicycle, right? Like, clearly, if you were able to add a bicycle or something like that, then it would have to have some kind of tracking mechanism attached to it, right? So Apple just outed themselves here, and clearly this must be on the way since they are allowing you to see this on your phone now. But there was another interesting part of this story that just broke. What was it, today or yesterday, Lewis, about adding external items, like third-party items, to the Find My app?
I mean, they announced this at WWDC that they're going to open up the ecosystem to third parties. And this week at CES, we saw what I believe is the first third-party device that actually works with Find My, and it's Belkin's Soundform Freedom noise-canceling wireless earbuds. Those were I don't know if those are actually available for purchase just yet, but they just announced them this week and said, hey, they're going to work with Find My. So it's the first one we've seen that it's going to be. I assume there's going to be a giant list of companies that do this. Although what I haven't been able to figure out is exactly what the companies have to do to get their gear included in this, right?
Right.
Sounds like they're under an NDA and not allowed to talk about this stuff. But
yeah, I wonder, do they have to implement the U1 chip inside of it to make it work? You know?
Right? Do they have to buy into that, or
Yeah.
do they just have to have some kind of UW? Because this is based on the ultra wideband technology, right? At least based on that. It's always been based on Bluetooth, right? That's what Find My used to be based on. But
Right.
the idea with the AirTags is that it's going to be UWB, and that the last iPhone 11 and 12, those both have it. So I mean, the whole reason for the delay, I mean, what we've heard, the reason that AirTags are delayed is simply because of COVID-19, and just
Right.
they don't think it's the right time to launch it because everybody's stuck at home. But the fact that this showed up in Mac OS and iOS apparently this week, and you can see this. I mean, doesn't that mean that they're going to announce this, like they're going to roll these things out like next week with a press release or something? I mean, I can't believe that I can't believe that you can already see this in Safari and the Find My app, and I can't believe that they didn't take it down if they're not just about to pull the trigger.
Well, the other interesting thing is if you do this on your Mac, it will give you an option to go to a support page and read more about it.
Right.
And the support page doesn't exist on Apple's
know.
website. So I don't know if this is like a big oops, or if they literally are on the verge of saying, okay, here's AirTags, here's how everything's going to work.
Yeah, I mean,
that seems to be more likely since the support page is linked to in the app, but
right.
you can't actually view anything on the support page.
And the fact that this has been live for over 24 hours. I mean, even when we were working on the post yesterday, I'm like, checking it, going, this is going to be outdated before we get, because they're going to shut this down. But it still works today. So I don't know, man. To me, it makes it sound like it's imminent. But and Prosser said that they had them ready to go. They're just waiting for the time to do it. So maybe next week. Who knows?
Man, this is going to be a really powerful technology. Just imagine, Find My is so useful, but it's so limited. You can only use it with your Apple devices until recently. And once I heard that they were opening this at third parties, I was like, this makes so much sense. Now you'll be able to find anything in the Find My app that supports the Find My technology. And so if you lose your keys, if you lose your bike, if you use another gadget, like what were the names of those earphones that you were talking about?
Belkin Soundform Freedom.
Okay, so Belkin we know is a good Apple partner, and you'll be able to find those in the Find My app. That's really pretty powerful and very cool. And just think of all of the things that will get support for this. For instance, if you lose your car, Have you ever lost your car before and you're like, I really don't know? So check this out. Quick story. I was in a car accident. This was years ago, and I had a small concussion. And one of the things that you experience when you have a concussion is memory loss. It's very strange. And I was in this neighborhood in downtown Seattle, right? So cars everywhere, streets all over the place. I went into a business, and when I came out, I had no idea where my car was. Like literally no idea. And and by no idea, I didn't even know what direction it was. So I
Wow.
had to it was like that Seinfeld episode where they're just walking through the parking garage. I had to just traverse street by street and just start going in a radius around where this business was to find my car. It probably took me an hour and a half. And finally, I found it like 2.5 blocks away. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, now I remember where I parked it. But it was so weird. So if you're forgetful, right? I'm gonna guess that El Caney is going to be experience this at some point in the near future, with all the ganj that he's partaking of. He's become the new Gandalf. I heard that he's working on blowing out one of those sailboats and then blowing it through a smoke ring that's like several feet away. And eventually, you can have some memory problems from that. You'll be able to use this to find your car, your bike, your anything. That's really pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that years ago we were talking with some people from Tile, and they were explaining how their devices work and why they're so excited about it. One of the things that they were excited about back then was like, look, we can imagine a world where, there are so many of these Tile devices out there that it becomes like this network of things, and people, everybody, if somebody walks by with a cell phone, they'll connect to it. Well, I mean, that's what Apple's counting on, right? Is that there's this massive network of iOS users, and basically, like if you lose your wallet, it can be spotted by somebody else with a ping from a cell phone that walks by.
Yeah, Apple heard that idea and they're like, "Hey, that's a great idea." Mass network, you say, of devices that can speak to each other. Hey, y'all, that's a great idea.
Love
Tim
it.
Tim Cook started elbowing like the marketing guy next to him. He's like, "Did you hear that?" Yeah, because now Apple's doing that. I kind of wonder what will become of Tile now that Apple is basically planning on Sherlocking the entire business model, and it's going to be so far superior to anything that Tile could have ever accomplished by themselves because they don't have the billion item network that Apple has, billion devices activated across their network. Who knows? It's probably even higher now. So powerful technology, and it's going to be something that's super useful. Man, we are tearing through these stories, Lewis. We got to start talking more.
Talk slow.
This show might actually be 30 minutes this week. Holy moly. Um, let's see here. Oh, we got this one too, though. So another exciting development in the world of content. Man, the world of content is just wild right now. You've probably heard me say this before, but with Beerbug out there, all the movie theaters are closed, and two of the biggest movie theater chains in the U.S., AMC and Regal, are both on the verge of bankruptcy. Sadly, it makes me sad to say that because I love going to the movie theaters so much. I hope that once things open back up, they recover. And you have Hollywood cranking out movies, or they're trying to, but there's nowhere to put this content. And streaming services have become the new way to consume all of these new movies. And AT&T announced that they're going to be bringing all of Warner Brothers movies to HBO Max. So they're going to release the HBO Max movies on the same day, or they're going to be releasing Warner Brothers movies on the same day in HBO Max as they are in the movie theaters, which is just wild. Netflix said they're going to have a new movie coming out every single week in 2021, a new movie every single week. Disney Plus has said they're going to be coming out with new episodic or movie content every single week in 2021, I believe. And a lot of it based on popular franchises like Star Wars, like Marvel. So these streaming apps are just starting to crank out. I feel like they got punched in the gut, right, with Beerbug. And now they're starting to recover and they've realized, hey, we don't have another outlet to release this content. So streaming apps are going to be where all of it comes out. And it looks like we have some more content coming out from two of my favorite people. So let me pull this up here. Browser mode engaged. Ridley Scott taps Joaquin Phoenix to play Napoleon in Apple TV Plus biopic. Ridley Scott will reportedly direct an epic starring Joaquin Phoenix as French Emperor Napoleon Bonaparte. Kit Bag, which I guess is the name, will be produced by Apple and shown on Apple TV Plus. Deadline got an inside look at the upcoming film and describes it as an original and personal look at Napoleon's origins and his swift, ruthless climb to emperor, viewed through the prism of his addictive and often volatile relationship with his wife and one true love, Josephine. The intention of the film is to capture Napoleon's famous battles, relentless ambition, and astounding strategic mind. Dude, that is a great descriptor. As an extraordinary military leader and war visionary. So, I'm a huge fan of Joaquin Phoenix. I love Ridley Scott films. I don't think I've ever seen a Ridley Scott film that I didn't love. And yes, I include like all the Aliens movies in that. And I'm really excited about this. But this got me thinking, Lewis.
Don't do it.
Ow! My brain's not used to this. Give me a second to recover. What got me thinking, Lewis, is we're a year out now, and in February, we're a year out now since Apple TV Plus launched, approximately, right? Give or take a few months. And everyone who got it for free with their iPhone purchase, if they didn't buy a new piece of Apple hardware, which you can still do, by the way, if you buy a new iPhone, they give you another year of Apple TV Plus for free. But if you didn't do that, then your subscription is coming to an end in February. And if you don't turn it off, they are going to start charging you $5 a month for this content. What do you think, Lewis? Is it worth $5 a month at this point?
I mean, there's a lot of stuff on there. There's a lot of shows I like. It's I think it just depends on what else you got in your on your TV, right? I mean, I think it's worth $5 a month. I don't know if it's the best one out there for $5 a month. I mean, there's so many things that are $5, $6, $7 a month.
Yeah.
And how many other people or how many other services are also offering these free things? Like I get Disney Plus free through Verizon for having an iPhone.
You're kidding? They just give it to you?
Yeah.
Dude, that's a great perk.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's only for 6 months or something, but I mean, definitely Apple TV Plus is smaller than these other services, right? But there's some good stuff on there. And it's kind of weird. I mean, we write about this stuff all the time on the site, and there are some weeks where there's like 4, 5, 10 deals that get signed between Apple and major producers, major production companies, major directors, Martin Scorsese, people that make amazing films are signing deals with Apple. And to me, it's just kind of mind blowing. I mean, it's very sort of movie industry stuff right now, right? I mean, it's hard to get excited about it. Like, oh, there's a movie 2 years out, and and next month they'll be, oh, well, they cast this person. It's like all this sort of inside baseball stuff. But if you put it all together and you think about how many projects they have in the pipeline, I mean, there's already a lot of stuff on there. And a year from now, it's going to be astonishing. If you go to the Apple TV Plus page and just scroll down, Lewis. And you see how many. Now. Look at how many shows and movies there are.
Yeah, I'm there. Let's take a look. Hopefully. Oh no, we don't want to do this. Don't start playing anything in the background, Apple. No. They're gonna block me again. There you go. I got past it. Okay, I'm scrolling through it right now. Yeah, Dickinson, feature films. I got a bunch of stuff on here. Oh man, that reminds me. Tiny World, that show that you pitched.
Yeah.
I watched it. Dude, you were not wrong. That is one of the most incredible shows that I have ever seen. I don't know how they did it. It's absolutely astounding how they were able to get some of the footage that they got. So Tiny World is this show about tiny animals, and they have footage of like salamanders and stuff running through the wilderness and all sorts of like really tiny creatures. Like there's a monkey interacting with a grasshopper. And just as someone that has experience with making video content, I do not know how they created this content. It is unbelievable. How do you follow a mouse running through a field with a camera? How do you do that? And yet they have all sorts of shots that are just like that. And some of the most incredibly timed shots that I've ever seen, you just happen to be there when the monkey started interacting with the grasshopper. Like, how did you know that was going to happen? Did you have a guy living in a hut just following a monkey around for months? I mean, that must be how you did it. And it's all in 4K. It looks incredible. And it is one of the most original pieces of filmography that I've ever seen. It was incredible.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah,
sorry,
I
go
don't
ahead.
know if they're going to do another season of that one, but yeah, that's awesome. I mean, that would definitely be worth paying $5 a month for. Just to watch those 6 shows. I would pay for that. They've got another thing on there called what is it called? Earth at Night or something. God, jeez.
I think
Name of the actual. It's a long
it
title.
is
It's got a
called
couple
Earth
more
at
words in
Night
it.
in Color. That's what it's
Earth at
called.
Night in Color,
Yeah,
right?
let me pull this
And
up.
that's kind of a similar concept, right? Like stuff you've never seen and video that wasn't possible to produce 10 years ago without
Yeah.
technology.
Hmm.
I haven't even started to watch that one, but I'm very curious about it. I've heard similarly amazing things about that.
So for $5 a month, you get all this, and especially if they're going to be adding a new show every single week. Actually, I should take that back. I don't know if Apple's doing that,
No,
but
they're
with
not.
the other
They're not
streaming,
yet.
they're not yet. Okay, with the other streaming services doing it, I'm sure it's in Apple's plan to do that. And Apple needs to do it the worst. And frankly, I need to see what happens in season 2 of C. I really need to see what happens.
When is that coming? I can't even remember.
Who knows, man? I think the production got pushed out. I heard that they hadn't even started production on it yet. So, but I really liked that show a lot. It was a little weird, and there were parts about it that I was like, give me a break, come on. But by and large, I actually really enjoyed that show. So there's some original programming that they have. But, more than anything else, it actually kind of makes me want to buy another iPhone. Because I'm like, if you get it on a payment plan, right, a new iPhone is like $35. But if I'm going to get Apple TV Plus for free, then I'm like, oh, saving $5 a month, I might as well just get a new iPhone, right? And I'm so sick of the limitations on the iPhone 11 Pro camera that I have. I'm just tired of not being able to use night mode on camera lenses that are not the regular camera lens, and on the telephoto and wide angle lens you can't use it. And there's just some limitations they have on the iPhone 11 Pro that I've grown to be tired of. So I'm like, maybe I should get the iPhone 12. If it's gonna save me $5 a month. Anyway,
yeah,
I'm gonna have to decide in February whether or not I'm gonna continue or I'm gonna start paying for it, or if I will just live without it. I canceled Netflix. I just got tired of Netflix content. Canceled it. And I'm thinking about subscribing to HBO Max. They have a deal right now where you can save 20% if you sign up for 6 months right up front. And I'm like, that's pretty alluring. If they're going to have all these new movies coming out to HBO Max, that might be worth it. So much content out there, though. It's kind of hard to keep up with all of it.
Yeah, I mean, it gets to the point where it's like we probably have 6 streaming services right now.
Yeah.
Netflix, Amazon, which is free.
Right.
Apple TV, which is currently free. Shudder, which is
I even heard of that one. Shudder.
really, it's horror. It's horror stuff.
It's just all horror stuff?
All horror movies and horror TV shows.
Is it SHUDDER?
Yeah.
Okay.
Shudder.
Okay. Well, I thought it was going to be with T's at first.
No.
Dear Lord, that opening picture is terrifying. $4.75 a month. Yeah.
Hulu and what else? HBO Max we've got. At some point, honestly, after a year of being stuck in my house, I'm actually getting tired of watching TV. And the last couple of weeks, the wife and I have just actually been pursuing other hobbies. Like
drinking.
Like I've been playing a little more guitar, drinking a little less actually.
Oh, good for you.
So it's weird. I don't think we need all these services, but it's hard to pull the plug on them, right? I mean, that's kind of what they count on. Like,
yeah,
what's it take for you to say, I don't ever want to watch Shudder again?
Yeah, and it's set it and forget it. You start paying for it, and you just forget that it's even there. Shudder seems like an interesting idea. It reminds me of this. I used to go to a lot of cons, so like Comic-Con and PAX and stuff. I love going to conventions. It's one of my favorite things. And my friend, the amazing Aaron Hughes, who I just had on the Cultcast, the most recent Cultcast Off Topic, which we'll talk about here shortly. We went to this thing called ZombieCon, and I was like, dude, this is getting a little too niche. Because once the major cons had the market, and you could go to Comic-Con, movies, comic books, entertainment content, and then there was PAX, which is video games. the people started to get really niche in the cons that existed because they're trying to draw off a part of the audience for their own con. And so we went to Zombie Con, and the entire premise is just people who are fans of zombies. And you walk around and people are dressed up as zombies, and there's vendors there that sell zombie stuff. And I'm like, this feels like it's getting a little too niche. And I kind of wonder if Shudder might be that version of Zombie Con. You know, it's like, really, do you really need a whole service dedicated to nothing but horror films? I mean, it is only $4.75 a month, but
Yeah, and they have stuff that you can't find other places. So
do they?
yeah, they have some original stuff too.
Oh, they're making original
And
stuff.
plus
Okay, well, there you go.
plus a lot of vintage like Italian horror movies and things like that. So yeah, it's weird. It's weird when you have like what did I just mention? I've got 3 services that are automatically free to me, right? Amazon, Apple, and what was the other one I mentioned? God, my
Disney
brain.
Plus?
Disney Plus. So that's 3. I mean, right there, I could get rid of everything else, and I would have something to watch every day, a movie or a TV episode for the rest of the year, for sure. Something good that I've never seen. So at some point, it's just like there's too many choices, right? So,
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, check this out. So Rob Jackson in the chat is saying Apple support told me you can only use it once. Really?
that offer, I've heard
Yeah.
that.
You have
I've
heard
never
that?
actually got to the bottom of it.
Okay. So
New subscriptions only.
interesting. Okay, so even if I bought a new iPhone, I couldn't get Apple TV Plus for free. Well, that is interesting. I had no idea. So it looks like
But
if I want it, I'll have to pay for it.
Maybe your wife could buy a new iPhone.
Hey, but she's on my plan.
Maybe your kid could get a new iPhone.
Yeah, I like the way you're thinking. That sucks, actually. Okay, so I'm going to have to pay for Apple TV Plus if I want it anyway. That's going to be a tough sell, TC. Tim Cook, I'm just telling you, that's going to be a tough sell. I don't know if Apple has enough content to fully warrant it yet, although I'm on the fence. I have to admit, I am on the fence. I mean, it's only $5 a month, which is what makes me think, oh, it's only $5, right? I mean, I can get a whole month worth of content for just $5. Speaking of getting a ton of great content for a low price, I got something to tell you guys. If you guys haven't been listening to Cultcast Off Topic, it is our new variety show hosted by yours truly and a few different friends. And we talk about all sorts of stuff that doesn't really have anything to do with Apple, technology in general. We just put out an episode yesterday, and there'll be another episode coming out today, another episode coming out tomorrow, dedicated to money, investments, what we're investing our money into, how our investments have performed. We're talking about Bitcoin. We're talking about Apple stock, Tesla stock. And I tell the story of how this might shock you, Lewis, how I just paid off my house.
Really?
I just paid off my house. I took advantage of something called the CARES Act, which I go into great detail in the episode. And so these are things that we don't talk about here on the show. And
What are you talking about? Talk about it here on the show. The what? You paid off your house?
Utilizing the CARES Act. And
What
if
is
you want to
that?
if you want to hear, I'll tell you about it, Lewis. After I wish there was a way to give away free memberships to Cultcast Plus, because I would totally do that. But unfortunately, there is no way. And so Cultcast Plus, we're now doing 3 episodes a week. So for just $6 a month, you get all the past episodes plus all the future episodes, and we're doing 3 episodes a week for $6 a month. We just did an episode with my friend, the amazing Aaron Hughes, all about money, as I mentioned. Last week, we did a series on gaming, talking about all our favorite gaming products, games, our games of the year, all that kind of stuff. I've got Buster coming on Friday. I don't even know what we're going to talk about, but it's going to be fun. The delicious Buster Honey, as I now call him. And so we're just pumping out new content every single week. And not only are you going to get a ton of content, you will be supporting the cause, helping the show out, and helping us make even more content. You get 3 episodes a week for just $6 a month. And there are other tiers here. If you head on over to support.thecultcast.com, you'll see there are other tiers here, which I'm not going to go into right now, which get you a ton of other, I think, very exciting perks, quite honestly. And we've got a lot of people in these other tiers as well, because they want to get their hands on some gear that we give away from time to time. So support.thecultcast.com, support.thecultcast.com. 3 episodes a week on all things that aren't necessarily Apple, but sometimes are related to Apple. And for everyone who listens to this show, whoops, I just switched to the wrong camera. There we go. There's Lewis back. I'm going to be releasing a episode that we did with Buster and Alex E. Heath. We did an Alex E. Heath Buster special episode, and it's only been available to Cultcast supporters, but I'm going to be releasing it probably either tonight or tomorrow so everyone can hear it for free. You can just enjoy it. And we had a great time, man. It was so much fun getting Alex back on the show. We talk about the power of TikTok, this amazing social media platform that I love. It's like one of my favorite new things. We also talk about Alex E. Heath's strange obsession with OnlyFans. And now he'll play it down. He's like, oh, I don't know anything about OnlyFans. But then you ask him questions, and the dude knows everything there is to know about OnlyFans. So we delve into that very deeply.
How many subscriptions does he have to that?
Well, I think he has his own account where you can go and watch him dance and do stuff in front of the cam. Yeah, he's a cam girl now, if you didn't know. It's his side hustle. So anyway, thanks to everyone who's supporting. And I'm trying to think if I should drop this one more piece of information. Nope, I'll save it for another time. That's already enough right now. So we have a bunch of new episodes coming out this week. Support.thecultcast.com. All right, let's go ahead and wrap up with this one last story here, Lewis. Let's talk about how to make your AirPods Max sound 10 times better. I'm not joking. This will make your AirPods Max sound 10 times better. Now, some of you are not going to like what I have to say here, but I'm just going to tell you what I experienced, okay? So first of all, let me see if I can connect my AirPods Max. One of the things that I learned in doing all my sound tests with AirPods Max is they sound better when you turn the noise cancellation and when you turn the transparency mode off. Turning those on leaves some frequencies, or it causes the AirPods Max to cancel out some of the frequencies that you would normally hear. I'm going to have to put these on. Hold on. I won't be able to hear you for a sec, Lewis.
Oh, my God.
I'm going to put these on so that I can access the menu on my phone.
That's crazy, Irvine.
There we go. Okay. And you can see when I do that, it will bring up the AirPods Max headphones in the volume level right there. And if you press and touch that, it will give you the option to turn off noise control and transparency mode. I've already done it, so you can't see it there. You could turn on spatial audio as well, or turn that off. So turning off active noise cancellation and turning off transparency mode does improve the sound quality of these. But here's the bigger thing. And this is the part that's going to make people mad. Let me put these back on. Hold on. I have been kind of disappointed with AirPods Max, to be honest with you. I love the build quality. I love numerous things about them, but I just felt like they didn't sound like $550 headphones, quite honestly. I have more expensive headphones that sound better than the AirPods Max, and they're cheaper than the AirPods Max. So I was thinking, is this like just Apple trying to redefine the category? Are they just trying to call these hi-fi headphones, even though historically hi-fi has meant something that did not have Wi-Fi? It's something that you plugged in with a wire and listened through a headphone amplifier or something. And as much as I think there is some truth to that, one of the things that I discovered is the quality of the music that you put through the AirPod Max makes all the difference in the world. And this is something I touched on in past episodes. I was a little bit concerned. I was like, well, these are Bluetooth headphones. That is not a high quality connection, and yet these Apple claims that these are hi-fi headphones. How is that going to work? Well, I've been using Spotify, and Spotify encodes their music at 320 kilobits per second, right? Which is like the highest that there is. And so I never even thought to try Apple Music. Well, on a whim, yesterday, I said, I'll just sign up for the Apple Music trial, and I'll just see if they sound any better. Lewis, that made all the difference.
Really?
The difference. Apple Music's codec is so much better than Spotify's for the AirPods Max. Like, The magic. So when I first reviewed the HomePods in stereo mode, it was immediately obvious to me there is a magic here. Like these have a magical quality to them, and they deliver audio that is beautiful, and they have a nice airiness to them. They don't sound compressed. And the AirPods Max didn't have that. They sounded great, but they didn't have that magical quality. Switching from Spotify, and I'm a paying Spotify member, to Apple Music, switching the codec from 320 kilobits, I think they use Ogg Vorbis at Spotify, to the, I think it's 240 kilobits per second AAC that Apple uses. It was a drastic difference. That magical quality that was missing from the AirPods Max suddenly, all of a sudden, was there, and I could not believe it. All the airiness, of someone playing a woodwind instrument, that breathy sound that goes missing.
Feel it in your ear.
Exactly. Those qualities get removed in highly compressed music or in compressed music. And in Apple Music's codec, those things are back. And like that little airiness, what are those things called when you rub your fingers across those bar chimes?
Wind chimes.
Wind chimes. And that magical musical quality that hangs around after the chime is initiated, like that disappears on Spotify, but on Apple Music it hangs out.
That's
I
bizarre.
could not believe what I was hearing. So now I'm torn. Do I stick with Spotify? Because I like Spotify's service way more than I like Apple Music. But Apple Music sounds dramatically better than Spotify on the AirPods Max. Here's another thing I learned. Pro tip. With Spotify, I believe the processing happens on your phone, and then that signal is transmitted via Bluetooth to your AirPods Max. This is my current understanding. With Apple Music, the digital signal is actually sent from your phone to your AirPods Max, and your AirPods Max are what is decoding that audio. And you have the H1 chip in each cup, right, with 10 cores each, and they are enhancing the audio inside of the AirPods Max ear cups. So, shocker, the AirPods Max work better with Apple's technology than they do with other people's technology. So, I guess that's three things there that make the AirPods Max sound drastically better with Apple Music. And I probably spent an hour and a half listening to music yesterday, just sitting at my desk listening to music, and I was stunned. I could not believe what I was hearing. I didn't think it would make a drastic difference. And it transformed the AirPods Max from being Beats Pro into being a actual hi-fi fidelity or hi-fi Wi-Fi pair of headphones. I couldn't believe what I was hearing.
Well, that is crazy. All right, so for next week, what you have to do is you have to listen with your other headphones that you liked better than AirPods Max. You have to listen to Apple Music with them and compare those two things.
I will try that. The hard part is I sold my headphone amplifier, and so I don't have enough driving power for some of these headphones. I should check to see if actually I maybe can run it through my iPhone or something. So I'll give that a shot and see how it sounds.
I've never heard anybody mention this. I to be honest, I didn't try the things with anything but Apple Music.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't. I didn't have time, but didn't seem. I never suspected that there would be a difference. So I'm really surprised to hear this, and I cannot wait to hear the follow up.
Oh yeah, it's coming.
I can't.
I'll get some follow-up for you.
I'm very curious about this now. It's bizarre. You'd think. I mean, I've always kind of thought that the rap on Apple was they were kind of derided for not having that high definition option, right? It's just like, here's what you get, Apple Music.
Well, it just happens to be fantastic. I mean, that's true. It is, here's what you get, but also it's much better. The weird thing is even though it's a lower bit rate, it does sound much higher quality than the codec that Spotify is using.
So
yeah, go ahead.
So get out the AirPods Pro and see how it sounds compared to, on Apple Music versus Spotify.
I sold my AirPods Pro. They're gone. They're long gone.
What the? How do you sell?
Dude,
those
irritated my ear holes so much. I couldn't stand them. Finally, I was like, I don't want to pay for these. They just don't feel good in my ear holes. So I went back to my regular AirPods. Yeah. The other thing that I wanted to just mention real quickly is I think that this is an indication for the future of Apple Music. I think that we're going to eventually get like a title level codec from Apple, because just look, these are a pair of $550 Apple headphones, right? And you mean to tell me that the best quality audio that we're going to get is 240 kilobits per second from Apple Music? No, I don't buy it. I think these prove that Apple has something truly high quality in store for us in the future, because right now the biggest problem with the AirPods Max is the lack of high fidelity content. These are a Ferrari. And right now, the only gas available for them is like 87 octane. So these will run and you'll get some performance out of them. But I think the hardware in these is way higher quality than the signal that are currently able to be pumped into these. So really what we need is some kind of lossless codec from Apple, and that is going to make these sound absolutely astonishing. And that's where I think that we're headed, because these without a lossless codec from Apple really don't make a ton of sense. They're good, but they could be a lot better. And a high quality music service from Apple would sell the heck out of these things, because that's really what these need. The problem is that the hardware in these is more talented than the actual music codecs that we're currently getting, unless you go with Tidal or something. But I don't know how that exactly would work. Like, does it work the same way with Tidal as it does with Apple Music? I'm guessing that Apple Music has some kind of like leg up technology wise. Like I said, they're sending the actual file to the AirPods Max to be decoded in the actual ear cups, as opposed to being decoded on your phone and streamed via Bluetooth to your headphones, which is what normally happens. What do you think about that, Lewis? The power of an
I'm stunned. Do you still have some Beats headphones?
No, I've never owned. I'm proud to say I've never owned a pair of Beats headphones.
Ah.
Yeah.
I know. I'm just curious if they sound better with Apple Music than Spotify.
I'm gonna guess that they do, because AAC, Apple's codec, is just better than Spotify's MP3 codec. But that's my take so far. So I'm gonna be doing a full YouTube video on this as well, because I'm like, this is gonna be part of my review. This was like a stunning revelation. And the thing is it's almost embarrassing to say it, because people are like, well, duh, of course Apple Music sounds better. But honestly, I have never heard anyone talk about this. People say, oh, they're pretty, relative to each other. But I've done the audio test, and I can tell you, I grew up playing instruments, and there are nuances that I often will recognize are there that other people just don't pay attention to. And that nuance is there with Apple Music with these, and it disappears when you go to Spotify. It's like if I were playing you a trombone and you were listening to it as I played, and then someone put a wet blanket over the horn or over the bell, and I kept playing. That's the difference. It's like, whoa, all of a sudden some of the frequencies just vanished. That's the difference between Spotify and Apple Music. Lewis, I'm surprised that you don't know this. Do you ever use Spotify?
No, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
I just, I
you
use
got the
Apple.
golden ears. All right, Lewis, before we wrap up, did you want to plug these Cult of Max stories before we wrap it on up?
Yeah, I wanted to hit people with this new series we got going right now on Cult of Mac. Safari tips. We're doing all these one a day, all these different Safari tips, ways that you can get the most out of Safari on your iPhone, iPad, or Mac. This week we've had a few, like how to close old tabs automatically, how to enable automatic page zoom for easier reading, how to swap out Google for some other search engine that doesn't track you every single minute of your day. Just wanted to point people to cultofmac.com. There's the how to. It's not a tab, really.
I should pull this up.
It's not really a button. It's a link. It's a link that says how to. It's really, really well disguised. That's where all the how tos are.
Look at this. I got it right here. How to
all week
right
long.
There.
You're gonna see Safari tips. Probably all month long. Actually, we got a bunch of these in the pipeline. So
nice.
Just wanted to point out that it exists.
Nice. Can I also mention one last thing before we wrap up? Here is it was CES this week, and just how sad and pathetic CES was. Like, there were like no actual good announcements this week. I was checking in every single day, and sadly, CES has become a sad shell of its former self because they can't do it in person. And all it was like, as you mentioned, Lewis, like iPhone chargers and different accessories, but nothing actually exciting.
Yeah, I mean, there are a few things, like there was that wearable that's kind of like an Apple Watch clone that they say can do continuous blood sugar
That
monitoring,
was
which
actually pretty cool. That would be
that'll be
revolutionary
awesome.
if that actually worked.
Yeah, and if it's real, I hope to God Apple buys it and puts it in the next Apple Watch, or at least has its own version, because that's going to be a powerful thing if they get that to happen. Flying car, Cadillac had a flying car,
Oh,
right?
dude, they have a
Every
flying
year,
car every
every year
single
there's a
year.
flying. Yeah. Samsung unveiled some phones today, which I guess is different. I'm not actually. I don't pay that much attention to Samsung and their phone things,
Yeah,
but
me either.
Ed was saying like, oh, that's a real coup for CES to have Samsung roll out a phone. So it's not just
I
the
know about that.
refrigerator.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we should go ahead and wrap it up there, Lewis. What do you say? I'm completely out of steam. I got nothing left to say. And I gave away all my secret tips. So let's go ahead and wrap up there. That's all the Cultcast we have for you guys this week. But you know what? The show goes on. We got new episodes of Cultcast Off Topic coming out today and tomorrow and maybe even Saturday. So if you want to grab those, head on over to support.thecultcast.com, support.thecultcast.com. This has been the Cultcast, the best 30-plus minute app conversation you're going to hear all week long. New episodes of the Cultcast come out every Thursday night. I want to thank everyone for listening, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye. Cultcast Off Topic.
Can you hear the strings?
The nuance is not there. I'm missing the nuance. We got to get this song on Apple.
Is it Spotify?
Apple Music. Well, I got the wrong headphones on. I got the Sony's on, production headphones. All the nuance is gone. It's not the same, Lewis.
It's weird not having Leander around, having to worry about whether or not he's going to curse on the air.
We're still live. Don't drop one yet. We're still live.